Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Today I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about down payments. Okay, if you've never bought a house before, you may not necessarily know all the ins and outs of what it takes to buy a house. Okay, now a lot of us have heard the whole 2008 debacle as far as nobody putting down payments and yada yada yada. Okay, definitely times have changed. However, there are actually a variety of options as far as buying property now concerning the money that you need to come up with. Okay, for instance, you may have a certain amount saved up. You may be getting a gift from somebody, like either a co-signer or maybe a relative or a friend or something like that. So I want to ask you guys, or just talk about briefly, how much money do you need to buy a house? Okay, so this idea here of 0%, that actually still does exist in certain loan products. Okay, for instance, I believe some banks will lend VAs. A VA loan will be sometimes 0%. Okay, so you don't have to actually have any money out of pocket as far as the down payment portion, which is really, really cool. Just to thank people for our service and that type of thing. Okay, so this is not super common. Besides a couple things like that I just mentioned, 3.5%. So there's a whole bundle of loans called FHA loans, and there's conventional and different things, but really I would like to refer you guys to a banker just to get the super ins and outs of these, but just a broad overview. Some loans might actually be 0%. 3.5% is actually not crazy uncommon. Now, certain loans like these may actually have different income requirements too. Like if you maybe make, I don't know what it is now, let's say it's $60,000 or more, as a family or whatnot, you may actually not qualify for certain loan products. Okay, so I know 5% is very common as far as what I typically see in a conventional financing. Okay, so 5% I think is 3 to 5%, but 5% is pretty safe to be like, okay, well, I don't have 20% to buy that house to live in, but I do have 5%. We can actually probably get a loan as far as the down payment portion. Okay, so that's, if you think about it, you're financing 95% of the purchase price. That's $5,000 on a $100,000 property. That's really not, not that crazy. So that's kind of fun to know if you didn't. 20%. Usually once you hit at least 20%, then you get, PMI or MIP. You can ask about those different things. But 20% is kind of a preferred equity amount, because then you're only financing 80%. Your payments are going to be a little bit smaller. You may have some favorable things like that. Okay, but you can go, as low as 0, but a lot more common, you can get the 5. And then if it's going to be a rental property to where you're not going to live in it, you're just going to buy it as an investment. An investment property, or sometimes maybe a second home, may require you to have at least 20, if not 25% down. Okay, so a single family house, if you're just going to go buy a house to live in, there's a lot more affordable options. However, you have to have more skin in the game if it's like a second house like that you're going to be renting out, the 20 to 25. And of course, this is always an option too, just to actually have no financing. If you have the cash and your hardcore Dave Ramsey books, I pointed to some of the books I have of him. If you couldn't see that, that may have looked kind of weird. But essentially 100% down. Hey, if you got it, or if it's cheap enough, you can always put a loan on it later. So it's not necessarily something everybody can do, but if you can, that is definitely an option too as far as 100%. So from 0 to 100, lots of different ways. I'd love to refer you to some of my banker friends and help you learn more of this. So hopefully this was helpful. Have a good day.